Florida just got announced as the most expensive state in the nation, but everyone wants to know, how the heck did we get here? Let me tell you about it.
So there's actually a really simple answer to this. COVID happened, right? The pandemic happened. Everyone got tired of, paying for their over expensive location. And so they're like, hey, let's move to Florida. It's cheaper and it's sunnier. That's basically what I did, right? So I was living up in New York City, living in Brooklyn. The 1-bedroom apartment was $2,900 a month. Or I think maybe it was like $3,000 total, something like that. Nice building. New finishes had been done in like the last 2 years, right? But New York City, in all their wisdom, was like, hey, let's close the parks, let's close the gyms, let's make it illegal to be outside, basically. Not really, but everything was closed. The pandemic in New York City was bad, guys. Like, living in the city, I could tell you, being there was not fun. It was super duper depressing. Everybody was like depressed. It was not fun. You couldn't see your friends. Like, even if you went to go and have a gathering and told people oh yeah, I was hanging out with my friends, nobody was doing that. It was lockdown. It was one of the most lockdown cities in the country, right? Just like some of the other big coastal cities. So imagine being in that situation, and you still love New York. I love New York, but when you're paying that much rent and you can't do anything, you really start to do the math. So that's why I moved to Florida. Came down here. I was living in New York City with my girlfriend. We both moved down, and now we live here. This apartment is 2 bedrooms, and I'm not gonna do a walk around in this video, but it's 2 bedrooms and a den. So this studio that I've built here is another room, basically. There's just no door, but it is a room in my apartment. Oh, we got a kitchen with an island. It's massive. There's a pool. There's a bowling alley in this building. There's a freaking bowling alley in this building, guys. What else is there? There's a golf simulator. So next door to here, this room, literally on the other side of this wall, is a golf sim where you can full on swing. It's nuts. I'm telling you, it's nuts. It's a dope apartment. Check it out. Shout out to Amelie Midtown. But let's read some of the articles. So I've got an article in front of me from CBS talking about, some of the chases, or some of the changes, not the chases, from Florida, right? So let me scroll through here. Let me find this. Yeah, so in February, here's a quote, and I'm looking at the CBS News article, right? In February, Realtor.com designated Miami as America's least affordable place to live. Why? Average monthly rents in the metro area at $2,930 are on par with San Francisco and Los Angeles, and double the level of considered affordable for people in the region given local incomes. So what does that mean? There's a lot of ways we can take this. People in real estate love when rent just goes up, constantly. They're always saying oh yeah, it's just a free market, it's totally sustainable. Right? The reason that people like Miami in the first place is because it's cheap, affordable, and it's beautiful. And so we're changing one of the key metrics about Florida when everybody comes here. Now, obviously, I'm part of the problem. I recognize that. But you can't just have a place is not going to be sustainable when it just continues to get more and more expensive. You're going to lose the thing that makes it that place, which are the locals, right? The locals are the ones who open the businesses, the restaurants, and the culture, and the vibes that you feel when you show up to a place. And when you go to a place and you feel something, that's because of the people who live there. Otherwise, literally every place would be the same, guys. Literally, there'd be no point to traveling if culture wasn't a thing. It always boggles my mind when people are oh yeah, it's fine, other people will move in, but it's those people aren't the reason you moved here in the first place. It was for the locals. The locals are what make a place a place. So it's always bad when you push out the locals. People who have small family businesses, their incomes, they're not super rich. If you have a family restaurant and you're making $200,000-$300,000 a year, it's enough to support your family, right? If you have a large family, it's local, and that's on the high side, right? Just because someone has a business doesn't mean they're raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars. It could be just low 6 figures, right? Maybe they're only making $150,000 profit, at the end of the day of their small business, and you start to push them out, right? Because they can't afford the rent for the area that they're in. Something to keep in mind. Miami's typical rent takes up a whopping 60% of a household's typical income. That figure is 45% in Tampa and 37% in Orlando. So a good rule of thumb when it comes to housing or rent is this should take up around 30% of your income, right? And I always say after tax. Some people, do this differently, but it should be about 30%, right? So the rent here, just full disclosure, for this apartment that we're in, we're actually paying more than we did in New York City. The rent right now, total out of pocket, is like $4,700 a month, right? So for that to be 30% of the total income, I don't know what it is, but it's less than 30% of total income for us, right? Very fortunate, right? But even still, it's super duper expensive. Like, that is a lot of money to be paying to rent, and our rent went up $400. If it goes up again, I'm definitely going to be looking to buy a spot or something, right? It's just completely unsustainable for rents to keep going up that high. And I think Florida has it the worst because we have people who move here from New York City, like myself. We have people who moved here from California, like other people that you meet here. You even have people who are moving here from Texas, which is unsuspected, right? Because you feel like Texas is another place that people are moving to, but I think maybe the beaches are better and something like that. And obviously Miami has a much stronger allure than an Austin, Texas, right? Austin is it's relaxed, it's chill. So I think if people really want more of party vibes, if they're younger, then they'll come to Miami. Something else interesting here. So policymakers in Florida have tried to diversify the tourism-heavy economy with new jobs in banking, technology, life sciences, and logistics. So this is a really interesting thing about the city, and I think this will actually be good if we do diversify the economy. The only reason I was able to move here, right, again, due to the pandemic, and I think everyone else's pandemic happened, and that started the remote work. So because of remote work, I'm now able to live here in Florida. I can do my job. I'm in tech sales, right? It doesn't really matter where I am. People aren't meeting in person as much. It doesn't really matter where I am. People don't even really want to meet in the first place in person because they're not even in their office. So as people are moving more remote, people can live wherever they want. Everyone is coming to Florida, so you have higher income people like myself coming down here, jacking up the rents. And that's part of why it is. Diversifying the economy, I guess the economy kind of already is being diversified by the fact that now you can have tech hubs here. You can have hubs of people who are working in tech now in Miami. I could tell you before, so my background is as a software engineer. There was no tech here. I know people, Miami was always on my radar. It'd be great to live there, but I literally can't live in Florida. If you wanted to be in a hub of people who were, not in the middle of the bear curve in tech, right? I'm sure there were some tech companies here, but if you really wanted to be in a tech hub with people who are super smart doing cool stuff, you were either in San Francisco, you could be in Washington State, or New York City. That's really it, right? Everywhere else is B tier cities. And that's just facts, guys. If you're someone watching this, you're hey, I'm sorry, but you're an exception. And I'm telling you, it's the difference in intellect and capabilities is leaps and bounds when you're actually in these hubs. Now, I think that is going to change a bit because people are spreading all over the place, and hopefully we'll see some more heavy tech-centric hubs show up here. Obviously, there are ramifications to that. We're talking about some of those ramifications now, but I do think it is good in general to diversify the economy and give young people who are local here, right, some of the next generation are going to have the ability to attain a high income job here in Miami, right? It won't be just transplants, and so we'll still be able to, keep that culture in place. Let's check out this other article. So this is a really simple, just kind of a list. Here are the 10 most expensive places to live in Florida for 2022. Surfside, Key West, West Miami, Sunny Isles Beach, Marathon, Miami Beach, Miami, Doral, Aventura, Hialeah. I'm like gassy, guys. I don't know what the heck is going on. So Miami is actually number 7 on this list. Key West is way down. Obviously you're not from here. Key West is the very tip of Florida. It's a small beach town, super duper expensive, right? A lot of tourists live there, so that makes sense that it's near the top. Miami Beach. So if you've ever taken your girls trip or whatever, came down here with your boys, Miami Beach is where all the Miami tourists go, right? It's right up on the water. It's where the big hotels are, like the Icon, or not the Icon, that's in Brickell, but all the big, I can't think of the name of the hotels right now. I'm drawing a blank. It's because I'm filming a video, guys. It's hard to think of stuff and stay on script for the video. Try it out. If you haven't done it, I'm telling you, it's hard. But Miami Beach is where everybody goes. So when you're on TikTok and you're watching people and there's big groups of people, everyone's doing dumb stuff on the internet, for the TikTok or for the gram, that's Miami Beach, right? That's like 15 minutes from where I live. I live by the water, but I'm over here Midtown. So, I'm saying a lot of stuff. That is interesting. We've got Hialeah at the bottom of the list. Hialeah is about 30 minutes west of me. I go out there to breakdance a little bit. So very interesting stuff, to say the least. So I kind of presented that information with you at a really high level. Here's what I think some of the consequences are, and what are something that we can do about it. Is anything going to be done about it? I don't think so. Florida's government is very, very pro-business, just like make money hand over fist. And that's just the way it is. I'm not going to talk about the merits of that. It's fine for the people who have. For the have-nots, it sucks. That's just the way that it is. People are going to get squeezed out. And just like many other iterations of this, there will be a cycle where it goes up, up, and up. And we're actually seeing, the market start to pull back now due to a lot of extraneous circumstances. But it'll blow up, right? It'll eventually blow up, and that's just what happens when you have unsustainable growth, right? It's cool to have runaway growth, and if you're lucky, you can catch the top. But what will happen is, if you're in real estate or any business, is that if you're in a system where it starts to run away in an unorganic, right, and unsustainable manner, is that alarm bells should start to go off. And this is something that I'm always aware of when it comes to real estate. There are people who are appreciating, their properties are appreciating 50% year over year. You're like, wow, I've got 50% more equity year over year. So you want to sell that, right? Well, one, who are you going to sell to? Does everyone else have 50% more money, right? Is everyone just making that much more money? And then where are you going to live, right? You sell your house for 50% more, but everything else is 50% more expensive, right? Just in general. So yeah, you can get a bigger house with more debt because leverage still exists. Interest rates are stupid low. But you're literally just like signing up for the worst version of the rat race, because now you're rolling into a property that's just exponentially more expensive, just like yours was. It's not good. It's completely unsustainable. And regular people with regular jobs should not be buying into properties leveraged that are changing in price that much. That literally is inflation. A lot of people don't call the increase in housing inflation, which is nuts. They think, the market is just hot, it's doing well. No, that's inflation. Your money is worth less. A house that costs $100,000 now costs $150,000, right? Within a year, within 1 year. If in 1 year I go down, I look at a house and it's worth 50% more, nothing has changed. It's not like people are making 50% more money, nothing has changed. That is inflation. It's not good. But every online community that talks about real estate is inhabited by brokers and agents, and they benefit from the increase in prices. So you're not going to get a reasoned take hardly anywhere on this, especially Reddit. I'm going on a tangent right now, but holy shit, the people on Reddit are absolute idiots. And I say that as somebody who invests in real estate, guys. Like, see it coming from a mile away. Timing, not sure. Some markets are starting to pull back now, so we're starting to actually see tangible, like real life examples of markets that are pulling back now, starting to collapse. Places like New York City, Miami, we're special markets, right? So Miami is a special market because we have a lot of money from overseas coming here. It's not just locals. It's not a big city like you would see out in the Midwest or one of those cities that is going to be much more prone to shifts quicker, right? So we have a lot of things propping this market up, more or less. But we kicked out one leg, but we got to kick out a few more legs before this will actually have an effect on the local economy. So I'm wary of it. I'm keeping it in mind. I love Miami. I'm not moving anywhere, but it's just something to keep in mind, guys. I do think that there is opportunity, right, within the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months. I think the market here, this is my thesis. I could be wrong. I do think the market here is going to blow up a little bit. I think we're going to see some properties actually lose value. So not just slow down growth. I think we're actually going to start people cutting prices. I think that's going to be a real thing. And I think there's going to be an opportunity. Now, are they going to cut to pre-pandemic levels? I don't know. We'll see. But a price cut is a price cut. That's good, right? So if I can get 15, 20% off ask instead of paying over ask, like a lot of people are, that would be really, really, really good. In any case, if you're still here, definitely like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Share this with 2 of your friends. If you're super popular, hey, share it with 5. I don't know. Maybe you got it like that. But in any case, my name is Forrest. I invest in stuff you should do, and I will see you in the next one.